From the News 19 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Efren Afante. Late this morning, the National Hurricane Center changed what was Tropical Storm Florence to a Category 1 hurricane. Sustained winds at 75 miles an hour at times, gusting to 90, still continuing to move to the west-northwest, now at about 12 miles an hour. But all indications that over the next several days, it will stay out in the central Atlantic, possibly re-intensifying as a Category 1 hurricane after going down back to a tropical storm. But at this point right now, it's going to be far east of Bermuda that the anticipation, at least for now, won't be impacting the U.S. Atlantic coastline. But just to the east of that, a new tropical wave is continuing to develop right off the coast of Africa, and the National Hurricane Center now has a 70% chance that over the course of the next 5 days, this may develop into the new tropical storm. But all eyes are on the tropical storm that is already impacting and will continue to impact the United States. The National Hurricane Center issued the notification on Tropical Storm Gordon, the latest information as of 11 o'clock. Wind sustained at 65, gusting to 75, continuing its northwest motion. It has slowed down just a little bit to 15 miles an hour, currently positioned just south of Panama City, Florida. But the track that the National Hurricane Center does have, it possibly will make landfall later on this evening, and they continue into the lower Mississippi Valley through Thursday night until it moves into the mid and upper Midwest by later on this weekend. The potential of a landfall today, later on this evening, anytime after 5 to 7 p.m. local time, could possibly have wind sustained at 75 miles an hour, which would make it a Category 1 hurricane. Category 1 hurricanes require at least 74 mile an hour wind sustained. It'll be hitting close to 75. Now, tropical storm warnings remain in effect for the Florida Panhandle all the way across to the eastern, southeastern parishes of Louisiana, but the hurricane warnings still remain in effect for both the Alabama and Mississippi coastline, and the indication right now to the cone uncertainty is that the landfall potential will be anywhere from Mobile Bay, Alabama, all the way across to possibly just east of New Orleans, Pearl River, Biloxi, Pascagoula, Mississippi. So this is going to be the landfall area, but keep in mind, the strongest part of a hurricane is in the north-right quadrant, and that's going to be areas from Destin, Florida, all the way up to Mobile, Alabama, and points north, where they're expecting the potential of severe storms. Now, as this makes landfall, the potential of 55 plus sustained mile an hour winds is possible anywhere in the 4 states of New Orleans, of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. Now, the hurricane force winds potential of 70 plus mile an hour will be the target area of Mississippi and Alabama's coastline, and of course, further inland. The other problem that they're going to be dealing with, depending on the time of the landfall and high tide, there is a storm surge warning for these states along the coastline as well, where there's a potential of 3 to possibly even up to 5 feet storm surges as Tropical Storm or Hurricane Gordon makes its landfall in the Mississippi Delta. Now, there's been a lot of rainfall over the last 12 hours, but most of it has been offshore up until this morning, in which now rainfall has been pushing through from Port St. Joe's to Panama City, now getting into Denton, Florida, pushing into Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and then into the eastern portions of Louisiana from New Orleans down to Morgan City and Slidell. Flash flood watch remains in effect for the entire region as far north as Olive Branch, Mississippi, because there's the possibility that they may receive at least 6 inches in some areas, and that's just over the course of the next 12 to 18 hours. Here's one thing that we're going to be watching very carefully for most of the U.S. This is the future track of how much rainfall and where it's going to be going over the next 48 hours. As Tropical Storm Gordon or Hurricane Gordon moves through Mississippi, a lot of heavy rainfall is expected in Mississippi and Alabama. The downside to this is that the upper Midwest and the Midwest has already received a lot of rain earlier this week, and all the rainfall is projected to continue in the Midwest. But as this system moves through the lower Mississippi Valley, they're expecting even more rain. And with that said, as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there's a possibility of localized heavy rainfall and flash flooding possible in the Midwest into the Ohio-Tennessee River Valley. So lots going on with this tropical storm. The bottom line is that we're going to be watching for the impacts of Tropical Storm Gordon, potentially Hurricane Storm or Hurricane Gordon, as it makes its landfall, at the potential for wind and rain and flooding damage as it transects through the heart of the United States. We'll have updates as they come along from the National Hurricane Center, both on air, online, and on our Facebook page, WLTX News 19.